3 types of goal setting and how to use them for personal development. Hi, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Takara.
With Magnificent You.
So in this video, we want to talk about these 3 different types of goal setting. First of all, we want to say it's really important to set your goals.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
It's important to figure out what the goals are and to put it in writing and get clear and all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to go into all how to do that in this video, but we're going to talk about it's important. And so how to set some is the point of all this.
Yep.
Right. So one of the ways to set goals is to break them into long-term and short-term.
Yep. And depending on who you ask, the long-term goal might be a decade out.
Right.
Or by the end of the year. So
right.
Depends on who you ask, but there's often a long-term goal, maybe some form of medium-term goal, and then a short-term goal. And the short-term goal is usually like a week to a month of you can actually do this thing.
Right. But something really cool to think about, especially, well, it doesn't matter what age you are. And I think it's harder the younger you are. Like if you're in your, teens or 20s, this might be hard to think about because you haven't had enough experience and you're still figuring out your desires in life and really where you want to go with it. But the older you get, the more you can do this. And that is look at the end of your life. What do you want to have accomplished by then? Okay. Like, if they're giving your eulogy, okay, what do you want people to say about you? Right. What, do you want to leave some great work? Do you want to help a bunch of people? What is that sort of thing? So
do you want to have been the best at something?
Right. Right. And so that is a really long-term goal.
Yeah.
Like,
really.
Depending on how old you are,
yeah.
that can be
can't envision that myself yet.
Yeah. But that can be a great place to like aim for in the end and then back it up. Okay. If I'm trying to do that, what do I need to be able to do in 20 years, in 10 years, in 5 years, in 3 years, in 1 year,
If you can envision that.
Right.
If not, start with the year out and see where it gets you.
Right. Well, I mean, for both of us, we're writers. Okay. So back before I'd written a book that became a bestseller or got published or anything, one of my goals was, before I die, I want to write a book. I want to publish a book. Okay. So it can be that simple. It doesn't have to be like your whole life plan. It can be as simple as that. You want a goal of a book.
Some bucket list items.
Yes. Bucket list. That is that's like a bonus. Okay. That is a bonus. Creating a real bucket list. And if you're not familiar with the term, a bucket list means what I want to do before I die, right?
Before you kick the bucket, which is a colloquial, at least in some parts of the world.
Right.
For death.
But that's where it came from. But it's like, okay, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? What do I want to have accomplished? Okay. A lot of us have a bucket list for travel. Okay. I've basically been to everything on my bucket list but 2 places. Okay. But I've traveled a lot over the years. So those are some things to think about. So we've talked about long-term goals and short-term goals. Mm-hmm. Now we have, what's next?
Outcome, performance, and process goals.
Right.
So for the outcome goals, your focus would be on the end result.
Right.
If the example of publish a book, have I successfully published the book? Right. If the answer is yes, then you've achieved that goal. If the answer is no, you have not achieved that goal yet.
Right.
Pretty straightforward and easy to measure whether or not you've successfully done that.
That's right. And something that I've mentioned in another video, but we'll reiterate here, and that is you have to, if you set a goal, you have to have that measurement you're talking about, whether you need to know by the situation whether it has been achieved or not achieved. Mm-hmm. Okay. If it's just a concept, like you want to get fitter, or if it's a concept like you want more money, but you don't specify how much or by when or any of those things.
Yeah, a little example would be, imagine a lot of money. Is that a clear picture?
No.
Imagine a stack of $1,000. You can pretty easily see that in a much more substantial way.
Right. Or so many gold bars or
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
that is, or how thick the wallet is, or how many zeros there are in
Yeah,
the checking account.
Yeah,
like,
there's a specificity for that.
yeah. Yeah. So just saying you want more money, if you find a penny on the roadway, you have more money.
Successfully achieved your goal of getting more money.
Right. So you need to be a little more specific than that, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
So the next form would be the performance goals, which is going to be you concentrating on improving your skills and abilities in something.
Right.
The second of this subdivision of goals is going to be the performance goals. And for that, you're going to be concentrating on improving your performance in something.
Right.
So if it would be, for fitness, adding 10 minutes to your cardio session,
Right.
or that extra mile to that, or if it's an intellectual endeavor, doing longer periods, or if you're trying to study math for whatever reason, you can do the more complex equations successfully.
Sorry, I got a degree in engineering. The minute you say study math, I'm like cringing. Like, been there, done that. No, thank you.
Done.
That's funny. That's funny. But it's like, with weightlifting, because he's into weightlifting. I used to do that when I was younger. I still do it a little bit, but not like, can I add more weight? I do it more for like hand weights with low reps, just to get my heart pumping and things. But, if you have goals to increase your strength, it would be like, I want to be able to lift 10 more pounds or 20 more pounds, or, with whichever of the exercises you're using weightlifting with, right? With writing, it would be, I want to write this many words per day, right? Stephen King, is it 2,000?
For a long time, at the very least, it was 2,000 words every day.
So professional writers, authors who are, have book after book after book after book, this is their full-time income, they have a goal of, I write this many words per day. And it could take me an hour. It could take me all day long, because some days are easier than others, but they hit those goals before they get up and go do other things.
Yep.
Yeah. Another one is process goals. Okay, so we talked about outcomes, looking at the end result, like a finished book or whatever. We talked about performance goals, which is we want to increase something, a skill. Process goals is, okay, what is my goal so that I can achieve those?
Yep.
Right?
What am I going to be doing? What's the process I'm undergoing in order to achieve that? So, again, with the fitness example, if you wanted to set, preferably you've set a specific goal for that you're trying to achieve, and then within the process goal that you have, okay, I'm going to work out 4 days a week.
Right.
And I'm going to do cardio, in this time block, this many days, weightlifting this many days.
Right.
And have that set up.
Or walking.
Well, yeah.
Or whatever your exercise is. If you bike, if you hike, if you walk, if you dance. Right? But every day. Like, that's my thing. I love to dance. I have a YouTube, private playlist. I click it on. I jump around the room. Right? That's part of my exercising. Like, so make it fun. Whatever it is. Don't make it drudgery, because you want to achieve it. But that is process where how much time am I going to devote to this and building it into your schedule? Yeah. All right. Next up, the next thing, the one that a lot of people have heard of, they've become quite popular. They're called SMART goals. And each of the letters in the word SMART stand for something that is how you put these goals together. Okay. So the first part of SMART is that they are specific. That means it's not this nebulous idea, like we just mentioned, of fitter or wealthier, right? But it's very specific numbers.
Yeah. It's this much on the track, or that number in my bank account.
Exactly. So what's next after specific?
Measurable, which is very much leaning towards specific. It's very much in the same vein. It's, you can achieve the goal and know that you've achieved it, or you have not.
Right. So like with a dollar value or a number value or
with publishing a book.
Yeah. It's like, it is or it isn't. and there's no question about whether you've achieved it or not. So like some people want to be happy. Well, that is really hard to measure.
That's very nebulous.
So that's why we're saying like that is not a SMART goal.
Yeah. What are some of the things that could bring you happiness?
Yeah.
Set those goals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Next up after measurable is achievable. And that means this is a goal that you want to stretch yourself a little bit, because to achieve anything of any value, you typically have to go outside your comfort zone. Okay. But you want it to be reasonably achievable in order to believe that you can, right?
Yeah, that goes for the individual person. There are some people that need to set a ridiculously lofty goal and say, I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
No matter what. And then they just go all in until they hit it or they don't. And then there's other people who, if they tried to set a goal like that, there's just no chance.
No, because their own beliefs would stop them.
Yeah, they couldn't even get started on something crazy.
And I just did a video. I mean, I maybe just one right before this one. Okay, I'm not sure which order.
Yeah, it'll go in at some point.
I just recorded a video where I talk about all the mindset things, okay, that are stopping people. And so how lofty your goal is depends a lot on what's going on up here and what you believe. And the other thing that has to do with that is, like, I go into a whole thing. This is my latest best-selling book. It's endorsed by Jack Canfield. It's all about goal achievement, okay? And I go into different things in here about how to set your goals and how much of a stretch goal you want to do that you'll actually go after and achieve. You can get a free copy of this if you wait till the end, and we'll tell you how to do that. Okay.
All right. And then it needs to be relevant.
Right.
Your goals need to be in line with what you're trying to achieve, be it, morally and ethically, if it's in business or anything like that, or just...
If it's just way off in left field, like you set this lofty goal, say 10, 20 years out of one thing, you want these smaller goals in that area of your life to be relevant toward achieving that bigger thing.
There's no getting momentum toward this thing way over here if you're just puddling around doing a bunch of random goals down here, because why not?
Right, right. And finally, the T in SMART is time bound, okay?
Yeah.
And time bound means you want to set a specific date.
Yeah, there's a deadline for when you're going to achieve the specific, measurable, and achievable, relevant goal that you've just set. You have to do it within the allotted time.
Exactly. But then there's people who criticize this idea of SMART goals.
Yeah, the SMART goals specifically do have some criticisms. There's serious rigidity to the whole process. There is an overemphasis on the quantification. Because, everything is measurable, everything is specific and time-based and all of those things. For some endeavors, that's not really achievable.
That's not reasonable. And, well, I mean, let's look at the book you're working on, right?
Right.
Setting a time-bound goal.
Had I done that, I would have passed that a few times by now.
Right. Because he started going in one direction with his book idea. It's a novel, so, the whole thing is creativity, okay? It's not like what I do, which is self-help, but it's...
way easier to write, by the way.
Oh, self-help is so much easier than what he's doing. Like, I'm accolades, man. No way would I write a fiction novel. But it's like, you have to world build. You have to create a character. You have to create a personality around that character. You have to do the setting and then worry about dialogue and worry about the hero's journey and blah, like it is so involved. And
then the network of characters, because there's all these other people with their own motivations that are interacting with each other. And
right.
Yeah,
and as he starts
exponentially
getting closer to it really working, he's like, oh yeah, I really need to bring in this whole other idea.
Oh yeah, that thing needs to be brought out better. Or, oh yeah, no, that plot hole needs to get fixed. And because that plot hole's been around for a while, I have to just...
Yeah.
If I were to have set a SMART goal around my book publishing, that just would have been impractical.
And the thing, what we're saying is, and what the generalization is, when it's a creative endeavor,
Yes.
it doesn't always work. SMART goals don't always work. And for me, like, I do not set deadlines. I don't. I find them stressful. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you know that, I've had a problem with stress, and I literally had a meltdown when I was back in the corporate world. That's why I do kind of what I do now and help other people de-stress. So I don't put myself under undue stress, right? So with creative endeavors, I don't want that deadline. When the creativity, with the inspiration is there, I follow the inspiration, and I might write for 3 days solid because that's how I roll. But I'm not setting a deadline saying something has to be done at a specific time, because it just seems to meander and flow a little better for me when I don't. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Because you now know how to set your goals and you're going to achieve those, you're finally going to start seeing the changes in your life that you want. Inside Russell Brunson's brand new Secrets of Success Library and Mastermind, some of the greatest minds in personal development teach you how to set and achieve your goals. With our exclusive super bonus stack, when you get Secrets of Success, you'll get access to Takara's best-selling book on setting and achieving goals, plus an hour workshop with Paul Murphy's Goals and Daily Tasks map. Plus, many more things.
Absolutely.
It's just the tip of the iceberg with that. Because you made it this far, we know that you'll love our future videos as well, so give this one a like and subscribe to the channel. If you have questions or any other ways that you've successfully set your own goals, go ahead and leave them in the comments below.
Until next time.